3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Hey guys, it's Bruce. Welcome to ConvoCourses podcast. And I don't really have anything planned today, except to tell you guys, to give you guys a breakdown of my journey, continuing the journey from going from GRC to cloud security. I've already started the job. I've been in it for like a week. And what I'll do is just tell you, like, this is day zero. I really haven't even got my hands in there yet, but I have gotten some exposure to it, and I'll tell you guys a little what I can tell you, that stuff. But I want to start off by sharing with you guys something that I think's been missing from the channel, which is memes. So check this out. Ryan, thanks, man. Thanks for this awesome meme. So he's got Bruce walking with the GRC and looking back at CloudSec. That's great, man. He's got some other memes here. Let me check out the rest of these memes. Share these memes with me. So this is the famous meme of the guy looking back at the red dress, for those who are listening. You got to put these memes on my new platform, man. I'm gonna be sunsetting this platform and going to another one, but this is the kind of stuff we want to have on there. Got Bernie Sanders, the whole I'm once again I'm asking for you to join me on the CloudSec journey. That's great. Love that meme. And here's another one. I'm just now seeing this one. Ryan thinking about GRC without Bruce. He's got the Pablo Escobar staring out into nothingness meme. That's great. That's great. I like that one. Let's get another one going here. Marked safe for Bruce talking about me, GRC today. Thanks, man. Oh man, we need more memes, man. We need more memes, guys. And then he's got the Star Wars one, Padme, and there. Let me see. I'm now a cloud security engineer. You'll still talk about GRC though, right? And he just he just stares. That's great, man. You'll still talk about GRC, right? Oh, that's great. I love these memes, man. GRC, you don't see GRC memes. That's it's really rare, man. We gotta do more of those. That's brilliant. Yeah, before I get into talking about my journey and continuing, and it's open questions. So you guys can ask me any questions you like. First of all, I want to say shout out to my community here. Ryan, thanks for those memes. And then Larry, shout out Larry. Larry, I got you that the meeting with Will Reed next week scheduled. So I already talked to him. So we're gonna do it again. I would like to get his. It's been a year, so I would love to get his take on some of the changes that have happened and the things that so many things have happened in that year that since we talked. So that should be really interesting. I'm really excited to talk to him and get his take on what's going on. And for those who don't know, Will Reed, he is the CEO and founder, creator of Better Everyday Cyber. You can check him out at bettereverydaycyber.com. And he is Army vet, and he is his biggest skill is information system security manager. So it's a real smart guy, real talented. Love talking to him. So look forward to that one next week on the 13th, and we'll be talking around 12:30 Mountain Standard Time. So look out for that one. Thanks for setting that up, Larry. I appreciate you, man. Okay, so yeah, so now that that's out of the way, to tell you guys a little bit about what's going on with this journey. So about a year ago, I started down this path, really looking and getting into AI because I really am fascinated. I'm blown away by it. So I started getting into it and trying to figure out, like, trying to pick apart the market and how I can get in there from where I am now. And I always, like, my mentality is simple, like, start where you are, right? So I start thinking, like, how can I start where I am? So I used AI. I actually asked AI, like, what should I do? Here's my resume. I'm trying to go here. And it made some suggestions. It suggested things like being in AI, going into AI ethics. It suggested doing, I don't know, like there's a couple certifications for cloud, for AI. And the more I dug into it, the more I realized AI capable, like the way that OpenAI and Google Gemini and all these other um, LLMs are working. The reason how they're able to service everybody is the cloud. They're using the cloud infrastructure. So I start thinking like it's kind of like the gold rush in California, right? Like the people who got wealthy wasn't the people going to get the gold. It was the people selling shovels to the gold miners. It was the people like Levi Strauss who was selling Levi jeans, like tough pants, to the people who are going out and mining the gold. There was very few people who actually struck gold in California during, the 49ers in 1949, that era when they were, frontier, going to the frontier and all that stuff. The people who really made the money was people selling the shovels, selling the gold panning mines, stuff like that. That's what's happening right now. The people who are getting the most wealthy are people who are not necessarily getting that, creating that SaaS and then it blowing up, right? There's people like that. There's definitely people who are making a SaaS off of AI and doing really well. I'm sure it's more than it ever has been in history. But the people who are really getting wealthy, the people who are really eating, for lack of a better word, are the people who are supplying the infrastructure of AI itself. Like think of NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA has their own AI, but their real wealth is coming from having creating the chip and all the services around that. Those are the guys who really getting wealthy. And there's other organizations like, Google actually owns not only one of the best AI, generative AI LLMs out there, but also they have the platform to scale up with it. And that's why they're probably going to be one of the top leaders for probably the next decade. So I just started thinking to myself, like the people, though, that's where I need to focus my energy. And the data is loud and clear. Every time I go out and try to get a job, everybody wants me to have a cloud on my resume. So I start thinking, man, maybe it's obvious, right? It's all the signs are pointing to I need to learn cloud. Like I have to learn it. Like right now, I need to stop what I'm doing and focus all my energy on that because AI is being built on cloud. Every time I go out to try to get another job, they're keep asking me to what's my experience with it. So I'm like, okay, I need to stop what I'm doing and learn it. So that's what I did. So I started focusing on just learning as much cloud as possible. And I started from the fundamentals. I started from like AI, AWS CCP. I started off with Azure 900, foundational information on cloud. I started putting that on my resume and I got hands-on too. I started like logging in and there's like a free tier on AWS where you can just mess around with it and they don't charge you anything for like a year. So I started messing around with that. And it was just like, if you have like a real solid understanding of IT fundamentals, it all makes sense, right? The storage piece makes sense. How they do that, they're the AZs, how they break it into availability zones and have regions, which allows you to have like disaster recovery. They're how they do compute in virtualized environment. It uses a lot of virtualization in there. Everything about it just all clicked and made sense. And I found that a lot of it I've already had exposure to. If you have a fundamental hands-on understanding of IT fundamentals, you'll just find it very easy to digest and understand. If you already have a background, but even if you don't have a background in IT, like you've never had a help desk or anything like that, it's still the low-level foundational certifications have a great curriculum that'll get you where you need to go, right? You might have to, like, if they start talking about VPC, virtual private cloud or something like that, you might have to do a little bit more digging if you don't have an IT background. When they start talking about networking and stuff, you have to learn a little bit of stuff if you don't, but other than that, like, it's pretty simple. Like, to start off with is simple, and then it gets very complex very fast. So anyway, that's how I got started thinking about like going this route. And what happened beginning of the year, I'm in the government sector, and things just have changed. And if you're in the government sector, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Things have changed, And I don't think it's sustainable what they're trying to do. And I'm not gonna. I'll just get to the point. Like what happened is Doge, right? Doge happened and they start cutting people. They started restructuring. There's a lot of decisions they made impacted us directly. Like, not that I wasn't laid off or anything like that. I was a contractor, but what happened was other people start leaving because it didn't make sense. So smart people started leaving. We started losing our talent. Like, we start losing people who actually care about the mission. People care about what we're doing. They start leaving and going to other sectors or going to other departments that weren't impacted. And what happened was it was more work on us. Like, there was just all this avalanche of more increased work because the work didn't decrease, right? If anything, the work increased. But we start losing good people. And because of Doge and because of all these changes that really don't make any sense. I mean, maybe they see something I don't see, but because of that, we lost people, and my work tripled, right? My workload tripled, and it wasn't going down. And I'm like, damn, man, I think I got to do something else. It doesn't make any sense anymore. So I actually made a lateral change. I went to another department, same part of the same branch in the government, but one that wasn't as impacted by all the dumb decisions that Doge, questionable decisions, let's just say, about Doge, that Doge was doing. So on our department. And once again, I'm putting my resume out there, and then everybody's asking me cloud. But this time I was ready. And I was not only had opportunities to sit for interviews for cloud positions, but I was applying for them aggressively because I wasn't backing down this time. And if you guys have been with me for some time, back in the day, when I've been through like three different jobs while I've been doing maybe four or five different jobs while I've been doing ConvoCourses. If you've been with me for a while, there was a time when I did this whole thing, this whole spiel where I said, hey, I'm getting another job and I'm moving over here and everything. And I remember very distinctly saying that when I put my resume out, everybody's asking me cloud this and cloud that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not a cloud guy. I mean, I've done FedRAMP before, but I don't have any hands on. So I realized this time I was prepared. Like, I got the AWS CCP, I got the Azure 900, and not only got those certs, but I had some hands-on messing around with it. And then I started realizing, okay, I see what they need, and start pulling in, realizing I actually had more experience than I thought, and put that on my resume and start marketing myself. Putting it out front so people can see what I can do with it. And I was able to land a cloud security job. Now, I just recently got hired, like within last week. I've only been there for 1 week, and the learning, I'll say, is different. Like, the things that you got to focus on are pretty different than what you would have to focus on as a GRC person. GRC, you're going to focus on whatever framework or standard they're using. That's going to help you out a lot. Like, if you know that the organization's using NIST 800, you should read up on NIST 800, specifically Special Publications 837 and 853. Like, you should know those pretty well. You don't even have to read it cover to cover. You just need to understand, like, the structure of what it's saying. Like, I would say get familiar with the different families rather than reading every single control, like, which would be crazy to do. To absorb the information better, what you would want to do is take NIST 800 and then read the different families and understand the basics of each family, and then NIST 837 and understand, like, the process of risk management framework, like all the steps, right? And if you have an experience, like, be able to explain your experience to the steps or explain it to different controls that you have exposure to. That's what you would do for NIST, for GRC positions. And then let's say you're a retail, right? You are a GRC retail person. You would learn PCI DSS. You would learn it, and then correlate your experience that you have with that. Or if it was HIPAA, like if you were a GRC person in healthcare, you need to be able to cite certain things that you've done that help the organization comply with HIPAA. And if you were in, I don't know, a bank or something, it'd be Sarbanes-Oxley or something like that. So you get the idea. With cloud, it's different. Like it's going to depend. What I'm noticing in this week that I've been doing nothing but studying. I'm in the job and I'm like studying like the infrastructure and how it works. It's more dependent on what the infrastructure looks like. So what technologies are they using? What type of platform cloud model they're using? Whether they're using infrastructure as a service or they're using a SaaS, software as a service, or they're using a platform as a service. Which cloud model they're using, and then what brand, what platform are they using? Like, are they using AWS? Are they using Google? Are they using Azure? Right. And then on top of that, what kind of cloud model they're using, which is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software, whatever it is. Like that's kind of what my focus is. It's definitely more technical. And then what tools they're using in that environment, what tools and services they're using. So that's what my main focus is, not necessarily GRC frameworks and stuff. Although for this job, I do have to know a little bit of that, aspect. So that's kind of the differences, and that's where I'm at right now. And I'll, keep you guys on top of like what's going on and what I'm learning and stuff. And I'll share it with you as much as I can. All right, let me take some comments. Larry says, would be great to get Ryan on the show as well. We had a good chat about Security Plus, and I think that he has some great cyber training. What do you say, Ryan? Would you like to come back on, man? Anytime, man. Really, anytime. It was great talking to you. And then Larry goes on to say, do you have any interest in learning Linux? Is there a space outside of coding where having the knowledge base would be useful? Yeah, Linux is super important. As a matter of fact, in the environment I'm currently in, I'm going to have to go way deeper into Linux than ever before. But yeah, do I have interest? Absolutely. And not just an interest, it's now a necessity. So, and then you said, is there a space outside of coding where you have a knowledge base, a space outside of coding where having a knowledge base would be useful? Yeah, absolutely. So, in the environment I'm currently, I'll give you an example. We're using a lot of Linux, and so I'm gonna have to get back into the command line. We're gonna do a little bit of admin work, system admin work using Linux. So not all Linux is just for like coders and stuff. Like although there is that aspect at the place I work for they got a DevOps side, but yeah. So any environment, as a matter of fact, couple places I worked at were using either Linux or some variant of Unix, and instead of doing anything with Windows, all the things we were doing we were using either IRIX is what we used. I don't know if anybody on Earth uses it anymore, but we were using a variant of Unix and Linux, and since everything that we had was built on that instead of Windows, instead of Microsoft products, we had to know, how to navigate inside of that OS. We had to know how to secure it properly, how to back it up. There are tools that are designed specifically to deal with administration of Red Hat or IRIX or whatever you're using. And in some cases, we had to develop our own little tools to do certain things because there was nothing on the market. There was no commercial off-the-shelf products to help us with certain things. So yeah, there's definitely a huge area in which where Linux is very, very helpful. And I would argue, like, if you're getting into this field, like, you should, I would do set up, install, my own instance of Linux just to mess around with it, just to be able to navigate inside of it. Do things like just doing basic things like being in the command line on a Linux system, and then being able to know where files are, being able to find files. You don't even have to get into script writing. Like you just being able to move a file from one folder to another. You can also do it with the GUI. They got drag and drop stuff like that on the GUI. But you at some point you're gonna want to get in the command line to start to understand the paths in how the structure works, and where the important files are on the system, things like that. So yeah, there's definitely a huge as a matter of fact, this job I have, they asked me a few Linux questions, and because of my background, I was able to just were easy questions for me. But it's nothing that you guys couldn't do. There's nothing that you couldn't do at your house. Let me see if I got any questions or comments or anything on TikTok. How you guys doing over here on TikTok? Let me just take a look here. And at some point, I would like to make it so that we can see your messages pop up on, so everybody can see it. But in the meantime, Dave Bull says, are you transitioning to cloud from GRC? If so, what are you studying for? So I've already transitioned. You said, are you transitioning to cloud from GRC? Yes. And if so, are you studying for certs? So I already did. So here's my story, Dave, just real quick. So what I did was I took a couple of cloud certifications, passed them, got some hands-on stuff, and I did this over the course of about 8 months. So last year I started this journey, and then with those certs and some of my background and having hands-on, I was able to go from a GRC position over to a cloud security position. I cheated. All right. So the way I cheated was, it wasn't the certs that I'm referring to as far as cheating. I'm referring to what I did was I made a lateral change. I knew we had cloud positions, so I made a lateral move from here to here, like in the same organization. And then I also leveraged my skill set, my current skill set, in doing information system security officer work, because they needed somebody with an information system security officer background. So I was able to use all my current skills to make that move into a cloud position. And that's one of the tricks I've been using throughout my career, is make a lateral changes and build off of skills I already have. I did the same thing in the Air Force when I was a cop in the Air Force, and I made a change inside the Air Force to computer operator. And yeah, it was great, great for me, because that's what I wanted to do, is computers. And then another TikTok question, they said, hey man, do you have any recommendations to get hands-on experience for the blue team? I think that there's a dude named, I don't know if you've heard of him. There's a dude named, I don't know. I can't. Gerald, he's like a PhD. He runs something called Simply Cyber. So that guy, he's in either he runs it, or he's in contact with a whole team of dudes who have a blue team training session. And I just know because I'm in his feed and I saw him advertising it. So I would recommend somebody like that who's already doing it. I don't know their prices. I don't know if they're charging for it. I'm not sure, but I would do something like what you want to find is somebody who's already doing it. That's what you could start off with like a Udemy, right? Like Udemy has like cheap courses. Like it's really good to start, or even YouTube. It's really good to start off like a low investment to see if maybe that's not what you really want. Maybe you're just starting out. If you're kind of like on the fence and trying to start off and learning like the basics, if you're just learning the basics, then I will start off with like YouTube and like Udemy. But if you're already like really wanting to dive in and get in the weeds, then you're gonna have to make an investment in yourself. And then you want to try things like Cybrary is really good, or somebody who's in the field like myself, who's already doing it, who's going to tell you exactly what is being done in the field. Like that's the best training you're going to get. To get into cloud, I talk to other cloud professionals. I talk to people who are already doing it. I talk to Professor Black Ops to get their advice. Like just those golden nuggets of advice that they gave me were super helpful, because they were telling me things that they're literally doing. Another one's Rob Rodriguez. He's also in cloud. I was asking questions, and they would tell me, like, here's what you do, man. And they're not BSing me. They're just going straight. They're not telling me a bunch of textbook stuff. They're telling me, here's what I actually do. Here's what it really looks like. So you want to find like a course or a person who's doing blue teaming. They're really doing it in their job, right? Or they have a company that they're doing it all the time. You want to find somebody like that. And you can find these people on Cybrary. Has a good group of people. I mean, good group of courses. Not cheap though. Another one for blue teaming, like I said, Simply Cyber. I believe he has a group of people who teach it. Those are off the top of my head for blue teaming. Those are the two that come to mind. And I again, I don't know how much they charge or anything. I'm not sure. Like what Gerald Auger, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, that guy is the truth, man. That he's a real deal. That guy's the real deal. So yeah, he's got a huge group, and they have some blue teaming stuff in there. Thank you guys thanks for the questions. I appreciate that. Yeah, Gerald Auger. So yeah, man, this has been a great journey. Like I have to say, it's been incredible. It's been incredible. And this community has been super supportive. I just don't know. Man, it's really rewarding, and this is really when I really want to take this to a different level. To help as many people as possible. For me, that's the name of the game, is to help as many as people as possible. That's why I do the books. That's why I do the courses. That's why I do, free stuff on here. And really for the future, what I want to do, and I haven't really talked about this to everybody yet. Only people I've talked about is people in my group or Larry or something like that. But I got another platform building out that will allow me to put out way more stuff, way more courses, and then allow other people to put stuff on there as well. And I hope to collaborate to help as many people as possible getting in this field. If you're interested in this field, if this is something you would like to do, if you want to learn more, then yeah, you come to the right place. That's the kind of community that we're trying to build here. People that help each other out. Because I truly feel blessed, having been in GRC for so long, and it's been super rewarding, and now able to go into cloud. So back on TikTok, somebody says, Brand says Stephen Merrick Cloud. Yes, Stephen Merrick is exactly one of the main sources that I used to study, to do hands-on stuff, and to pass the AWS CCP. So shout out to Stefan Merrick. He's like a French dude who is like one of the most popular IT certification guys on Udemy. Super, really great course, and he's got a bunch of stuff on YouTube as well. Cloud stuff. He's a AWS and Kafka expert. So shout out to that guy. That's the guy. That's mostly what I used. That's mostly what I used besides AWS itself. And then I also have a book. Let me see if I can grab this book over here. Another source that I used for the cloud, if you're interested, is this one right here. This book right here, AWS by let me see, Ben Piper and David Clinton. So this is one of the main ones that I was using. Got the audio book. I just inundated myself with the study material, and then got in there and start messing around with it. And that was over the course of like 8 months to get hands on. It's not really as hard as I thought. I had put it on this pedestal, but it's something you can do for sure, especially if you have an IT background. And I would encourage you to put it on there. Like if you want to be competitive in the market, I would definitely go for it. Brand says, are you doing cloud DevOps or cloud architect? I'm doing cloud security. So I'm going to be working with DevOps and I'm going to be working with cloud architects. I'm going to be doing vulnerability management. It's really in line with what I already do. What I do as a GRC person mostly for the last 7+ years has been not just documentation, like not just plan of action and milestones and system security plans and baselines and security SOPs, standard operating procedures and stuff like that. But I've also been doing STIGs, vulnerability management, and lately, like last 7 years, it's been a lot of vulnerability management. Like I've been right in the middle of vulnerability management. Like we run the scan, get the results back. We have to interpret those results, and then we have to prioritize like which one to hit first. And so I'm having to talk to the DevOps. If there's DevOps involved, I'll have to talk to them about their code base or what, the library has vulnerabilities or whatever. Whatever tool they're using has whatever, we got to figure out how to fix it or do documentation for it. And then I got to work with cloud, not just cloud, but all kinds of architects that maybe they're the system engineer for this other server or something that's doing some kind of mission essential function or something. Like that's the kind of stuff that I do. And I've been doing that for years as a GRC person. So I have to be technical. I have to know like how to speak to the technical guys, how to talk to the management guys, how to talk to C-level execs, right? Like I've got to talk to all those people in their language to articulate what is going on with our system if there is anything going on, right? So that's the kind of thing I do, and I'm going to be doing that with cloud. That's it, in a cloud native environment, and that's exactly where I've been wanting to go. So man, what a blessing. What a blessing it's been. This journey has been, because amazing. Let me see. Larry, my man Larry says, are you still considering an overseas position in the future, or are you done with that and sticking with CONUS work? CONUS is, for you, those who don't know, is continental United States. So this is a great, once again, it's like you are freaking dialed in, man. So something that I've been wanting to, it just like clicked recently. The goal here is to do not just work from home or remote work, but work from anywhere. So WFA, work from anywhere. That's the goal. And the reason why, I'll be perfectly frank with you guys, I'm getting up in age, and I know you can only tell from my, that I'm older because of my hair loss. But I'm an older gentleman. You know what I mean? I can't do this forever, I don't want to do it forever, right? I love this right now, but I know that as I get older, I can see like, damn, one day this is not gonna be for me anymore. It's just it's a younger man's game at some point, right? Like I give myself maybe 10, 15 years and I think I'm done. And I found it, I didn't retire from the military. I don't have anything going for me. Like after this, I'm done. So I need retirement income. So what I've started doing is going into real estate, building businesses, little streams of income here in the US and in Southeast Asia. So it's starting off very small, but I give myself about 10 solid years, and that's why it's going to be important for me to do work from anywhere, because I can do this for a long time, but I don't know that, I'm not sure I'll be able to have the income to keep up with the increased cost of living in the United States. So my plan is, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know. Is this just like a few months ago when I said, "Hey guys, I'm on another journey here. I'm gonna be a cloud guy." And then to be honest, I didn't know if I could do it. I mean, I didn't say cloud guy, but I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get another job." And then, I had no idea where it's gonna go. I had no idea. But and it's the same thing with this. I don't know. Like I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go for it. Um, so my goal is to do like a work from home, work from anywhere. So I'll be able to live anywhere I want. I love the United States. I don't wanna move. I love the US, man. We have problems. There's definitely problems. There's shit I don't like, that's for sure. But it's my home. It's where I was born. I love so many things. Love the freedom of thought. I love if that ever changes, of course, maybe my feelings will change. But I like the US, but the one thing I don't like is the cost of living here. Cost of living is very high, and I don't know that it's gonna be conducive to an old man like myself living here. So I might have to my plan is to have a job where I can work from anywhere, and I think cloud does that for me. And unfortunately, I won't be able to work in an industry that's taken care of me for so long, which is the government. Like I've been in the government space for 90% of my career, and now I have to leave it, unfortunately, because I don't know of any, unless I can work for the Department of State, which maybe I could do in another country or so. I don't know. But right now, my goal is do a get master my cloud skills, right? Get that nailed down, because I know other industries, this is really in demand in other industries. Not just in demand, but they pay really, really well, like much better than this sector. And I know I'll be able to work from anywhere, and work from Southeast Asia is my choice. I'll try other places. I have not tried um anywhere in Africa. I have tried Middle East, not for me. Um, Europe's a little too pricey. I mean, it's kind of suffering from the same issues US has. I need somewhere that has a better cost of living. That's really what it comes down to for me. It's not the politics. Politics here comes and goes. It's like the weather, right? You may not like the weather or climate now, the weather here now, but it'll change. It always does. So not really worried about that. It's mostly the cost of living, because that's the cost of living is a climate. It's not a weather. It's going to be here for a long time, and I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. Farron says, that's my goal, is to go overseas and pay off debt. Yeah, that's a great plan. You might want to check out Simone B's. She talks GovTech stuff. She's been doing it a really long time. She's making a crazy amount of money overseas, and she talks a lot about that. I did do that. The guy I talked to a couple weeks ago, Rob Rodriguez, him and I were overseas together doing that exact same thing you're talking about. And it's debt free up to like $100,000 or $98,000. It's really hard on your family if you have family, because you don't want to take your family to some of these places. You could. It was hard. It was definitely hard on my family. But man, the skill set that I was able to get, and the amount of debt I was able to pay off, and the amount of I was able to use that as leverage to go into a whole nother field. Like I was able to go from GRC to try out cybersecurity analyst work, which I loved. And then I ended up coming back to GRC. But yeah, it's a great gig, especially there's places that are awesome. Like I remember there was one opportunity somebody sent me to go to Montenegro. One was in Colombia. Yeah, there's a bunch of really good overseas places that you can go to working with the government, US government, where you're getting paid crazy amount of money and then paying like tax free. So, well, tax free up to $100,000. And Ryan says, what is the best branch of service to join to get security clearance and learn security, cybersecurity? And and why is the Army? So I don't know that there's a best service to join. I don't know. I wouldn't say, unless there's something you're partial to. Like, if I think that if you, for whatever reason, you love the sea and you want to travel a lot, probably the Navy. Join in the Navy and you're young, probably in the Navy. If you're older, an older gentleman, like you're over 34 and you can't join any branches of the military, then you might want to consider something like Department of State, right? The Department of State, I believe, will get you a clearance. You might even consider not going into a branch. There's different things you can do, right? Like, don't just limit yourself to going into a branch, I would say. Like, it depends on what situation you're in. If you're super young, you don't have family, you're 18, 19, you want to travel, get away, just like I was at that age. You're out of options. Like me, like Air Force. Air Force. Army's pretty rough. I'm just being honest. Army's rough. If you meet a person who's been in the Army, they just know that man really served. That man or woman really did some time. And the Marines too. It's hard. It's hard for most people in the service, right? It's their boot camp is harder. The places they have to go is harder. Their bases suck. Am I wrong, Ryan? Am I lying? Air Force, I would say, is, if you're a young person going in, like I would highly advise you. But if you're older, and actually if you're younger too, just remember there's other things you can do other than going to the branch of service. You could do you could do USCIS, you can do Department of Justice for the feds. You can do I wouldn't do ICE. I wouldn't join ICE. That's just my preference. I wouldn't do it. But it is a choice, though. It is a choice. There's other things like Department of State. They need people for the Department of State. There's other federal departments you could do that will get you that security clearance. And then also another option is to not even be a civilian worker where you're working directly for the government. What you could also do is be a contractor. And if you are a contractor working for an organization that determines that you have a need to know, they'll get you a certificate. They'll get you a clearance. So there's many different options. And just know that there's a lot of different things that you could do. Larry, thank you for that $20, man. I appreciate you. He says, you transitioned into cyber and established yourself. You leveled up and you even worked overseas. Now you are on your cloud journey, working and looking back. Can you give one game-changing piece of advice for those of us in the live chat? Yes. Yeah. I can give a couple, actually. Life-changing piece of advice. Game-changing piece of advice. Yeah, I can. So I would say, ultimately, regardless of beyond certifications and degrees, and I could sit here and tell you, make sure you learn Linux or get the CISSP or something. The most important game-changing thing is mindset. I say that because I've not given up. Let me put some context on this for you. My journey starts way before YouTube, man. I am a high school dropout. And I'm not saying that with pride. I'm not saying that to say it's some kind of boast. I'm ashamed of it. Looking back, my counselors were right. They told me to stay in and I didn't. And I dropped out of school, and I can sit here and say, oh, I had a hard childhood or something like that. I'm not saying this to get pity or something. I'm saying this to say one thing that I'll say, one thing that the reason why I was able to turn things around in my life was mindset. You only fail if you quit. Whether that's getting a certification or changing career paths, it doesn't matter what age you start at. You only fail if you quit. If you quit going that path and you just stop, then then yes, it's a failure. I'll say this as well. Don't confuse that with like sometimes things don't work. It's like I've tried different business ideas, and for whatever reason they don't work. They don't make money. I lost money. It was a pyramid scheme, whatever, right? Shit happens. Sometimes you have to adjust. One thing I learned from the Army that I will never forget, that was powerful. When I was in the Air Force, we worked directly with the Army. The Army trained me. I was one of the last SPs to get trained directly by the Army for something called Air Base Ground Defense. And one of the things that I learned was a powerful lesson when we were shooting grenades. And they said that with grenades, when you're shooting grenades, you just use your sight. Like you just have to look where the target is and then fire it, right? It's one of the old launchers where you put I'm sure I'm dating myself, but probably don't even use those anymore. But you had something called fire for effect. And what that means is you fire and you get as close to the target as possible. And then you say, okay, it's there. Now I see that I need to go a little bit to the left. And then you fire for effect. You fire again. And then you get closer. Life is like that. You just have to take action. And it takes a strong mindset to say, okay, I failed here. Like this didn't hit the mark, but I'm going to keep going. Keep going. Like sometimes you got to adjust yourself is what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to adjust. Like you see this thing doesn't work, whether it's a relationship or it's a financial, thing that you endeavor or whatever. It doesn't work. It's a money pit. Like you sunk some money into some house and it didn't work out, whatever, business, whatever. It didn't work out. Fire for effect. Keep going. Okay. I'm going to adjust it a little bit to the left and I'm going to keep going. The thing is you got to keep on firing, fire for effect, and keep on hitting, going until you get the target. What they taught us when we were firing grenades, we had this grenade launcher. It was like an automatic grenade. It was so ridiculous. Mark 19. I can't remember what it's called, but we were firing this weapon and we had to keep firing for effect. We'd see the effect, the explosion, and then we say, okay, adjust to the left. And then you keep going until you hit the target. And eventually you hit the target, but you got to keep going. You might have to adjust a bit. So that would be the most important piece of advice I could say. Like, no matter what it is in your life, if it's you have something you want to achieve, you want to, and think bigger, think bigger for yourself. You can do it. Whatever it is, you can do it. But don't quit. Keep going. That would be the advice I would give to everybody. Don't stop. Don't quit. Keep going. Believe in yourself. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm a high school dropout. And I'm not trying to get your pity. I'm just trying to say, listen, I came a long ass way. I came a long ass way, man. And I realize, there's a lot more I could have done at my age, but I realize also I came from a long way down. And I know how blessed I am to have been born into the circumstance and not give up and always have a positive mindset that, yeah, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to keep going. Other than that, like specific things, like if you want like skill sets or something, I would say technical skills, learn Linux, the command line. You don't really have to learn any kind of coding unless it's necessary. I've gotten this far with no coding whatsoever. I mean, a little bit, but I did it on the side as for fun, but not on jobs. If you're going to learn coding, probably a Python, but I would say the command line is one of the most important technical skills you can learn. because it's something you can learn everywhere. It's something you'll use it everywhere. And then like even doing vulnerability management, when I'm looking at the plugin output of a scan, I'm seeing the path of where what triggered the scanner. The scanner is triggered on a path. It's looking specifically on a path of where the code is, and because I'm familiar with the command line and how where the applications are installed on the system, like things like that, I'm able to understand, what's going on. Command line is really important. I would say it's one of the most important things you can learn, not just with Linux, but also with Microsoft operating system. The other thing that's really important that's not said is communication skills. Me and Will Reed talked about this the last time we talked and spoke, and this emotional intelligence is super important because you're going to have to talk to a lot of different people. You're going to have to talk to people who are complete assholes, and you have to work with them and be buddies with them, long enough to get the project done. You have to work with all walks of life, great people, totally jacked up people, assholes, people who have no clue, people who are brilliant. You'll have to talk to all these people, and you need to have the emotional intelligence to navigate those relationships so you can get the mission done. Other things, emotional intelligence and communication skills, command line, super important on Linux and Unix, Linux and Microsoft. What's another one that's really important for security? I would say networking. Networking super important, like just basic networking, understanding of networking, understanding things like the difference between a public IP and a private IP. That's important. I would understand a little bit about how IPv6 and IPv4 work. Like why is it 4 groups of numbers for IPv4? I would know that. Those are basic things. Like those things are fundamental and will get you on the right track. There's of course many other things like the 3-way handshake. If you're doing cybersecurity analyst work, there's certain things that if you're going to be a pen tester, there's going to be certain things I would tell you versus being a GRC person. For a GRC, I would say communication is the most important thing. Having fundamental understanding of basic IT fundamentals, and then best security practices, right? And then it depends on what field you're in, because each field has different standards and frameworks, and I would learn those too. So that's some of the things I would tell you, like those things right there. If you really follow me and you like really listen to what I'm saying, those things are life changing. Those things changed my life, so I know they can change your life. Let me see here. All right, I've got some questions and comments here in TikTok. That's why I'm kind of taking my time here. Somebody said, "Can you check out my question?" I think I already wait, Mr. Meeseek. Let me see. I might have missed it. Let me see. Hold on a second. I got all kinds of questions popping up here, so I might have. Okay, here we go. My ultimate goal is to get into cloud security. I'm an IT support engineer right now. Can I get an interview? I can't get an interview though. Oh man, this is my specialty, man. Nobody really listens to me on this, so I stopped talking about it. My specialty, man, is getting opportunities. Okay, so listen. If I'll keep it short because I know that not a lot of the audience is going to listen to this or cares. Okay, it's a numbers game. Getting a job is a numbers game, right? And let me explain. Just hear me out for a second, even if you disagree. It's a numbers game in that You want to apply for as many jobs as you are the most qualified for as possible. You don't want to shotgun it out to everyone. You don't want everyone. You don't want to work for everyone. Some organizations are not good to work for. Some of them are not a good fit. Okay. What you want to do is target those that you are the most fit the most requirements for. The way you do that is, number one, start off with a resume. If you don't know how to write a resume, you can download mine for free. Go to ConvoCourses.com. You can find my free resume, download it, and it'll give you an idea of what it looks like, the formatting. You'll see it's nothing special. They call it an ATS style resume, and it's so that the applications that read your resume, when they upload them into their databases, they being the employer, it can read what you've written, right? There's a certain format that it's taken into account. What you want to do is target the keywords of your industry. And if you're in cloud, they're going to want to know that you have hands-on on a specific platform. If the organization is using Google, GCP, Google Cloud, the Google Cloud, then they're going to want you to know and have hands-on with Google Cloud. If they're using Amazon AWS, they're going to want to know that you have hands-on with AWS. If it's Azure, same thing. You want to know, you want to be able to be articulate, to be well-spoken in those different, whichever one. Like, I would just choose one, right? Especially if you happen to be in an environment that already uses that, probably just use that one. But I'll tell you like this, with cloud, the market is like this. It goes AWS with 30% of the market, of the total world market. And then 20% is Microsoft Azure. 10% is Google, in that order. And then the rest is, like, I think the closest second, I think, is Oracle with like 1% or something. So one of those is going to help you, but the one that going to have the most market share, of course, is going to help you more, if that makes any sense. So I would focus on that one and then learn the fundamentals of how that works. Get hands-on experience with that. Leverage the current IT that you already have. You said you already have an IT background. When I say leverage, that means use that experience that you already have to get more ground into cloud. And I'll give you a specific example. If you are an IT professional and you have looked at audit logs, right? What you could do then is learn AWS CloudTrail, which is audit logs. Learn that, and because you already know how to look at audit logs, CloudTrail is just audit logs in the cloud. Use your current experience as leverage to get a better foothold on that platform. But that means you have to learn that platform, because if you don't know that CloudTrail is audit logs, then you wouldn't know to use that language, right? So that's why you have to learn the basics of cloud, and then use your experience that you already have as leverage to get a foothold in there. And then you want to put that on your resume, like your experience. Once you have the experience, I'm only telling you what I've done, right? I'm just telling you what I did to get a job out of GRC and into cloud. I used my current skills as leverage. Once I learned cloud, I was like, oh, I get it. So this is audit logging. This is the service they use to do storage. This is the service they use to do, and this is how they do it. Once I understood that, I was like, I got it. They have different language for this, but this is all pretty much the same stuff. You know, there's some things that are kind of out there, like VPC or something, but for the most part, if you know IT, you should be able to use your current IT stuff to put it on your resume. But what you really wanted to know was, how do I get an interview? Here's how. Once you put the stuff that they want to see, once you get the skills for cloud, you want to put that in your resume, right? And if you want more, like you really want to cheat, go to LinkedIn, and then look at other people's resume who are cloud professionals already. Look at the language they put in there. Look at the skill sets that they have. Copy that. Get those skill sets by doing it. You can do projects on your own and then put that in your resume, right? And then when you get in the interview, because you will get into it, once you do what I'm about to tell you, you'll know how to explain exactly what they're talking about because they're going to ask you questions about it. All right, now here's how you get the interviews. There's 2 tools that I use that were extremely effective, and I would like to show you those right now. One is LinkedIn. Let me show you guys my screen real quick. One is LinkedIn. So not only LinkedIn, but I use LinkedIn Premium. This is my real LinkedIn profile, by the way. I use LinkedIn Premium, and this got me more exposure. You will have to spend money for this. Another thing I use is called Use Massive. Those are, I'm not saying just those. Like you want to put on Dice, on Monster, on Career Builder, on ZipRecruiter. I would use those ones right there if you're in the United States. And also LinkedIn, of course. Build your profile on all of those. What I'm telling you will work. Like this has been working for me to get all kinds of people contacting me constantly about jobs. I'm only telling you what I've done, right? And as a matter of fact, if you're really serious, I wrote a whole book about this. This is exactly what I do. This is what I've been able to get. Have not been without a job because what I'm telling you to do, right? Even if you don't buy this, okay, just listen to what I'm telling you and it'll work. I'm telling you it works. It's worked for me, a high school dropout. Like I know it'll work for you. Now you do have to have the skill set, but you said you're an IT professional, so you already have it. Anyway, so you gathered all of that experience. You know what they're looking for. What you want to do is fill out your entire profile on LinkedIn, on Dice, on ZipRecruiter, on Monster, on basically like 10 different job aggregators. Put it all out there. Then they'll start to find you. If you fill it out completely, they will find you. You will get contacted by people. Not all of those opportunities will translate into an offer, a job offer. But I can tell you this. The more job opportunities you have, the more job offers that you have the potential to get. So apply and then go through jobs. Like let's say you want to do cloud engineer. You said you want to do cloud engineer. Go to cloud, type in cloud engineer like I did here. Look for jobs. Don't apply for just any job, all right? Don't just, like I said, you don't want to just go through this and just blast a bunch of jobs that you're not qualified for, you don't want to do, they're in another state. You want to target the ones that are most likely that you could, like, let's say you were in, like, these are Wyoming, Washington. Let's say you were in Washington. Apply for the jobs in your area, right? That fit your description. If they're looking for a senior Azure engineer and you just started cloud, don't apply for that job. That's not for you. You want entry-level positions that give you a little bit of leeway. So when you get in the interview, you have a chance to nail it. So apply for those, right? And as much as possible, look for the easy apply ones. Don't just do those, but these ones are easy to just knock out real fast. Like you can go here. Let's say I wanted to do Azure AWS. I'm going to look at this. Is the price, is it in my location? Yes, it's in the United States. Is this a job I can do? So I would go ahead and look at the requirements for this job, right? If you meet these qualifications, then apply for the job. If not, don't apply for the job. You want to match as much as possible, match your own skill set up with what is in the requirement. I'm just telling you what I've done, and then apply for it as many as possible. If you don't have a job or if you're not happy with the job, your job should be to apply for these as many as possible that you are that you are eligible for. Like, don't just, I'm not saying apply for just anything, but the ones that you are most eligible for. And then let me show you another thing that you can do here. There's this site called Use Massive. Aside from all the job aggregators I showed you, here's one that nobody's really talking about. This is an AI-based job aggregator. It does cost money, but these guys, here's a bunch of jobs right here. All of these jobs fit exactly what I do. These are all within my skill set. A 94% match. It's finding jobs for me. All I did was apply, upload my resume with all my skills, and then it walks you through everything it wants to know from you after you upload your resume. And then it goes out and finds the jobs, and then it'll send them to you. See, these are all jobs I could do. Like, these are all 97% match, 73% match, 66% match, 78% match. It's in my area, everything. And then it can apply for me. This will apply for me. If I put autopilot, it'll apply for all these jobs for me, back to back, all day, all night while I'm asleep, once it finds the jobs. And you can filter these. Here's a filter. Like, I could sit here and say, okay, these are the job titles I want. And these are based off of job titles I've done in the past. And it suggests some for me. Then I could tell it, okay, I have this experience level. Here's the location that I live. I want a remote job I want a hybrid job that's within 50 miles. Here's all my skills. You can also tell it what not to put in there. Like, there's an exclusion. Like, I don't know anything about Microsoft SQL. I'm not a DevOps. I don't know MongoDB. I don't do Web3. So, yeah, this is awesome. An awesome piece of software that somebody created. I bet you it's built on AWS too, by the way. But yeah, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how I've been able to find jobs. It's the market has changed. I'm not sitting here telling you that this is a magic button or something. It's definitely changed. It's not as easy as it was a few years ago. There's several different market forces moving. I think that's why it's so weird right now in different industries. Like, there's no magic button, but if you want to do it, you only fail if you quit. Just like, get in there and just keep on pushing to get that position. I would say what's happening right now is, I've never seen this before. It's kind of crazy. There's several things all happening at once. The media keeps talking about AI is taking all the jobs and it's gonna go down by. I'm like, I'm not really seeing that in government sector. I can't speak to FANG, like into Meta and Google and Apple and all those. Maybe it's happening there. I don't know. I'm not in that market. I'm not in that space of that industry, so I don't really know if that's happening. I only know what the news is saying, but I don't know how accurate that is. I can tell you about the government space. Government space is getting impacted by all this political stuff that's going on. Doge had a definite impact. Like, the stuff they're saying about that is real, because they fired a ton of people, and then they're mad about the jobs numbers. I'm like, you guys fired like 100,000 people. Like, what are you on? Like, are you guys stupid or what? Like, what are you doing? Like, they're mad about the numbers. Like, oh my God, the numbers are down. You guys fired a bunch of people. If you fire a bunch of people and there's nobody to do the work, guess what? You're going to lose contracts too, and which is what happened. So dumb. So my field, I can see, like, that's definitely one market force, is the current direction that they're taking us here. Another one is the tariffs are impacting the retail sector. And then, yeah, AI, I'm sure, having some kind of impact. So all those three factors all happening at once. I don't like, what do you think is going to happen? It's uncertainty. People are not hiring because they don't know what's going to happen next. That's what I think is happening. But, it's just my 2 cents. But yeah, you can do it, man. You can do it. If you do what I just told you to do, you will get a whole bunch of people contacting you. You'll get so many you won't even you'll have to throw most of them away. You know. Moneymaker says, I am in network infrastructure. How do I get into cloud? So yeah, I just talked about that. That's exactly my journey, is what I've been talking about. Let me see. Somebody said IC2 GRC, CGRC. Yep, got that one. Pretty good cert. Pretty good cert, especially if you're going into government as a GRC person. No retreat, no surrender. Failure is not an option. That's right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's mindset. Mindset. There's always going to be setbacks, man. There's always going to be setbacks. But what you do is you fire for effect. Okay, I'm off target here. Keep going. Don't stop pulling the trigger, man. Just adjust and keep going. Keep going. Okay, I've got some other folks here on TikTok. I'm a teacher and I want to get into tech. What is my next move? Okay, let me show you something that's going to blow your freaking mind. Okay, I've got one of my closest friends, like a brother to me. He works in IT and he works for a district. And he does security. He does their infrastructure and stuff. But one of the things he has to deal with is something called FERPA. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy, which is a form. And let me show my screen over here, which is a form of, this is GRC, basically. This is the kind of stuff we talk about when we talk about GRC. So every sector, let me paint the big picture here. Every sector, be it government or Fortune 500 or banking or you name an industry or a sector, education, entertainment, has laws that they have to abide by, which is called compliance. GRC stands for governance, risk management, and compliance. Every industry has it, including the educational sector. And this is the in the educational sector, what they have to abide by, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974. And what is this for? It protects the privacy of students and students' educational records by giving parents and eligible students rights over their records. So not only do they have to have privacy, they have to have security of those records as well. Personally identifiable information must be protected. To do this effectively, you've got to have a department in a district that takes care of this kind of stuff. So if you have exposure to this, you actually have an advantage over somebody like myself, I've never worked directly in the educational sector as an IT person. So yeah, what you could do, what I would do if I were you, if I was a teacher or working in the district right now, which the first thing you want to do is learn basic information technology. So start off, you might not want to do this. So I always tell people, start for free. Don't buy anything just yet. Don't buy any books, nothing. Go to YouTube and look for basic information technology. You can even just type in basic information technology, right? You can look for keywords like help desk professional on YouTube. Look for people who are actually help desk professionals and watch their videos. Just watch their videos. Don't invest anything but your time and your attention in the beginning. And this goes for anybody in any sector. You want to go into IT. First, don't spend any money. Just first, you might not, this is really not for everybody. I'm telling you, it's really not. You might get in this field and you're just miserable, right? You just might not want to do this. There's other things you can do to make more money, as much money. You can be a plumber. I'm not even lying. I'm not being facetious, nothing. You can be a plumbers, make pretty good money. They make pretty good money, man. HVAC makes pretty good money. Electricians make pretty good money. Like all those guys make as much and sometimes more than IT professionals. I'm telling you, IT is not the only option. It's not for everybody. It's really not. right? I mean, I thought in the beginning, I was like, oh, everybody should know. Not everybody should do this. Absolutely not. So that's why I tell you, the first thing you want to do is go to YouTube for free. Spend a little bit of your attention to watch IT professionals, not somebody like myself. I've been doing this for years. I mean, you can definitely subscribe. I'm not telling you don't watch my stuff or something. I'm just saying, like, I'm speaking to most people who are either already in this industry or already, that's my main audience. You can still watch. I mean, I'm not telling you not to watch, but other people need to be included. Like, I would say IT fundamentals, people who are teaching IT fundamentals, watch those videos. And then what you want to take from it in the beginning is not just learning, but like, is this something interesting to you? Like, do you want to do this? Do you have enough interest to continue to learn it? And if you do, if it's interesting enough to continue to learn it, watch more videos, get deeper. And at some point, you're going to want to invest in yourself, which is to buy a book about basic IT fundamentals. Start off there. And then when you're ready, you can actually do this in your house. This is a great thing about IT. You can do projects at home and start to pull your computer apart and start to learn, build your own computer, build your own gaming rig. That's one project you could do to learn IT fundamentals, how to build a computer, how to troubleshoot. You'll start to go down this rabbit hole where you have to watch all these people who you would not normally watch. Like, they're telling you how to fix the time in your computer, or how to put a new battery in your computer, or how to, I don't know, upgrade your RAM or something like that. So that's one project you could do. Other projects would be to set up a network in your house. You probably already have a network. Mess around with the network you already have. Mess around with things like firewalls, mess around with things like virtualization. These are things that you can do right now in real time. Another thing you can do is, like I've been doing, is make a lateral change. See if you can, in your district, make a lateral change from being a teacher to being in the IT department. Volunteer your time to go help the IT department. Why that's important is because you'll be able to add that to your resume. If you go volunteer your time to go fix laptops, student laptops, right, on your own time, or if they could pay you, that's even better. But if you could do that, you could put that on your resume. Like, you can put how many computers you help to fix. You can put in there that you help the team to set up a Wi-Fi network across this or that district. Put that time is very valuable, because you'll be able to put that in your resume that will then you can use as leverage to get a job in another district as a full-time IT professional. Then boom, your foot is in the door. I'm not saying this is going to take you some time, right? It's not going to be like instantaneous push a button. And the reason why I brought up FERPA is because the next big step that you could probably take is, once you're an IT professional, you could be helping to implement something like FERPA across a district. Especially, you cite that on your resume as being somebody who helped to enforce the policies of FERPA. So you've got some options. It's going to take you some time. You only fail if you quit. You can do it. You absolutely can do it. And Larry says, okay, switching up topics here. He says, did you find the basics of Amazon Cloud or AWS easy, hard, or same as basic Azure? Do you recommend one over the other? And for which one do I recommend that you start? I started off with AWS. And then I went to Azure, because what's crazy is I started doing AWS, right? And then I'm like, as I understood, I was like, holy shit, we're using cloud right now in our environment. And then I realized we're using so much Azure, like all these Azure services I'm actively using it. I didn't even know. I just wasn't paying attention. And then that encouraged me to do the Azure, the AZ900. And I was thinking, okay, I'll just master this one, because then I'll be able to use that on my resume. But as I start doing that, I put both on my resume, and the thing that people were contacting me most for was AWS. So I would recommend, based on what I've seen, like my own personal anecdotal experience, it would be do AWS because it has most of the market share. Do that. And then no, it's not hard. If you have, I think that it'll be moderate difficulty if you've never messed with computers before. I think it'll be easy if you're an IT professional already. If you're not, if you've been technical or you have, it'll be easy. It'll be just like, oh, they named it this. Like, I know what that is. They have a new name for it. It was like that. It was easy. And it was fascinating, actually. If you're brand new to cloud, some of it will be a little bit, it'll be moderately like challenging because they'll use a lot of some phrase from the words that you're like, what is that? You know, the way they word certain things kind of weird. They're using a lot of like terms that are business speak, you know, and it sounds like they're selling a product or something, which is not something. It's not one of my favorite things about either one of the courses. I found Azure much easier because they name things like they got some sense. AWS has some weird names to me, but Azure was very straightforward. Azure was so straightforward. It was very refreshing. The names are different. Like once you know one, here's the weird thing. Once you know one, they're so similar that they really just have different names for this exact same thing. So, you know, so that's basically it. And I got to get going, guys. I was only supposed to do 1 hour and I did an hour and 20 minutes. And my wife's about to pull me off of this thing. So I've got to get out of here. Now she's in the background. Do not do that on screen. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all you guys. I appreciate you so much. If you guys want to continue this conversation with me and Larry and Ryan and all the other people, just follow us on ConvoCourses.com. We have a community that we're building out. It's only got like 30 people so far, but we're going to build this thing to thousands of people at some point. But if you want to continue the conversation and the memes and stuff, check it out. And remember, if you go to Amazon, you guys can check out this book, which walks you through the NIST 800, written by yours truly. We've got, if you want to learn everything I've been talking about with the cybersecurity jobs, I talk about in this book right here. It's exactly how I've been able to get opportunities and jobs and everything. And I've got a ton of other books out there as well. So check those out. We got the NIST 800 controls, which breaks down the NIST 800 in plain English. And that's about it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really blessed to have you guys. I'm really blessed to be in such a smart, intelligent, and caring community. And it's the reason why I keep doing this. And special shout out to Larry. Thank you for buying these drinks for me with your donations, and everybody else who's been donating. And we will continue this next week. Thank you, guys. Oh, and next week we're going to be talking to the wonderful, the awesome Mr. Will Reed. We talked like a year ago, and he's going to come back on the show. This dude is awesome to talk to, is refreshing. He's such a mature dude. And I will talk to you guys really soon. Peace.